Welcome to another broadcast of the Gary Thompson Show.
Elevate your business with 10X Branding and Marketing LLC. Our expert team specializes in enhancing your brand's visibility and connecting you with your ideal clients. We employ strategies that increase reach, leaving a lasting impact and driving client conversion. Trust and credibility are vital in businesses and excel in building them even with a limited budget. Our cost-effective approaches ensure you get the best results without overspending. Ready to boost your business cash flow? Contact us at 332-235-T99 and let 10X Branding and Marketing LLC guide you to success. Our focus is on elevating your visibility, which directly translates to growth. Experience the power of effective branding and marketing with us and witness your business thrive.
Today, I have an exceptional talent in studio. Her name is Vickie, but she has an extremely rich history. She has spent years getting herself certified as a health coach, and today we will talk about what being a health coach is all about. She has over 30 years experience in business, and she has started a business that is better known as the Enlightened Peach. We'll talk a little bit about that organization and how it is really set up to impact and transform your life. And one of the key focus of Vickie is really helping people to get unstuck from limited belief and really take steps to come into their abundance. So we have an exceptional, menu of topic to cover today. So I want to encourage you to join me in welcoming Vickie on stage. Vickie, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. I'm just excited to be here.
I must say happy 4th of July, and it's a tremendous pleasure to be with you again today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Vickie, you have such a rich history, 30 years in business, you have been a business coach, you have been a health coach, you have started a Facebook group that is making so much of impact on your community, and you want to leave a legacy, you want to touch and transform the lives of people. So we have a lot to cover today, but let us begin by looking at your experience as an entrepreneur. What inspired you to get into business?
Well, I come from an entrepreneurial family. My parents had their own business. My aunts, my uncles, they all had their own business. And so I did dabble a lot into working for other companies too, because one of the things was I felt like I didn't want to do what everybody else did. So I tried all different kinds of things. And then, but I kept coming back to being an entrepreneur, and I worked with my family's business. And then it was like, as I stretched out with from the family's business, I was always looking for how can I make a better impact and how can I grow. And so I continued to be an entrepreneur, and then I became a health coach. Was my first branch off from like doing the family type business. And so I've never looked back. I still dabble in that too. However, my main passion is the life coaching, health coaching, the transformational coaching, the hypnosis, all of those things that are the catalyst for change.
Well, we will take some time to go through each of them so we can help the listening audience to get a better understanding of what you do and how your brand is really designed to help them to optimize their game, and achieve more out of life. You started business over 30 years. You have over 30 years experience in business. Over the last 7 to 10 years, you have also started your life coaching program, and you have registered, you have started the Enlightened Peach, which is the name of your business. Can you tell us a little bit about the Enlightened Peach? What is the significance behind the name? And tell us a little bit about how you want Enlightened Peach to really impact people's lives.
Okay, well, the significance of the name is I'm from Georgia. So I'm a peach, and I'm a Georgia peach, born and raised. And at one point, my business was called Life Transformed. And so my daughter and I, at one point, we were going to partner together because she did yoga. She did all these different things that helped people physically. And I was the health coach that helped people with their diet and their mindset. And so we decided to partner together. And so I thought about it and I thought, as people are getting their mindset change to where it's really affecting them in a major way, in a way that feels like enlightenment. You're enlightened to your gifts and your talents, and you're able to put them out in the world. So that's where the Enlightened Peach came from.
I really love that. Enlightened to their gifts and their purpose. I think it's so important because sometimes, you go through life, you have some accomplishments, but then you are not closer to living a purpose driven life. I've heard many persons say, if you're alive, but then you don't know purpose, you feel lost, you feel hopeless, and you are the mastermind with your programs that is really helping people to make that connection with life and purpose and make an impact through that. I really love that. So I want to give you,
Oh, thank you.
tremendous encouragement to keep doing what you're doing. A large part of what you do, you focus on transformational coaching. Can you give me an insight of what transformational coaching entails?
The best way for me to explain it is all the places in our life where we're wanting to change, we have what's basically called a thermostat of what we believe we're capable of, whether that is on our health, our weight, our relationships, our finances, our business, all of those things. We have a mental vision or our limit to what we can accomplish. As with transformational coaching, what you do, and I actually, the hypnosis helps me a lot with the transformational coaching, because we're able to actually go in and change that limit of that belief. So I like to say, it's like, if you have, if in your house you have an air conditioner and you set your thermostat on 70 degrees, no matter what you do, if you open the windows, you let the heat in, or if it's cold outside and you've got it set on 70 degrees, you open the windows and the cold comes in, the air conditioner is set up, or the system is set up to bring the temperature back to 70 degrees no matter what. No matter what's going on, it's going to start coming on, staying off, whatever it needs to do to regulate that temperature. So what we believe we're capable of in all of these areas of our lives has a thermostat that's set at a certain level. So for, let's say, if it's finances and you're a person that makes $70,000 a year, and that's what you've done for a very long time, maybe you have family members that's their limit too, and suddenly you get a new job or something happens that you have this windfall of money, like lottery winners, for instance. They get all of this money in and their thermostat is set at $70,000 a year. This is my lifestyle. They're going to have sabotage come in all over the place, whether it's somebody steals it, they give it away, they lose it, they have catastrophes happen, all these things come up, and it's basically to put us back into our little bubble of $70,000 a year. And so transformational coaching goes in, and I'm able to help you to take some of those limiting beliefs that you have and change them so that you can raise that thermostat. So maybe your goal is to make $200,000 a year. We can raise that thermostat so that your subconscious mind won't be fighting you as you get to that level that you want to be at. Because what happens is that's why people will falter in their business, their relationships, and all those, is because they don't believe that that is who they are. And we need to change that so they not only can become that, but they believe that's who they are and they can grow and become what they want. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I really love how you talk about the thermostat,
Mm-hmm.
and how to raise literally control it, not navigate it, learn how to do that.
Yeah.
But what I've seen very often, many persons who want transformation in their life, their socialization to life in of itself creates the barrier for that transformation to take place.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I look at it, and when I see a child is playful, a child is creative, a child is innovative, a child believes I can fly, I can do great
Mm-hmm.
things. But somewhere along the line of growing up into adolescence, teenagers, young adult, the programming comes in, and the programming really, takes you away from that creative way of thinking. The big question I want to ask, with all of the socialization that people are going through in life today, how easy it is for you as a transformational coach to help them to detox from all all of that negative mindset that says, I believe I can, but who am I to believe that I can be wealthy and successful? How easy or how hard it is for you to really get persons to detox and really embrace the true essence of themselves?
Well, it comes down to the difficulty of it is mostly reliant on their what they really want, because sometimes people want things just because they think that's what they're supposed to want, and so those people are not going to have a lot of transformation, right? Because it's not even their desires anyway.
Mhm.
So and I like to say, just like in the movie Shrek, and Shrek
Yeah,
says that, we're like onions, there's layers to us.
yeah,
And so when I work with someone, sometimes they're the one thing that they want, as we get that one taken care of, there's another peel, you peel that back and you get another layer, right? And so it's an ongoing change. Now, especially with hypnosis, I can make drastic changes with one session. However, then that another layer comes up. So I usually, when I do my work with people with my hypnosis and my transformational coaching, I usually do a package of sessions, because your one thing that you want so bad might happen in one session, but something else is going to pop up. And if we don't address that, then you're going to start falling back into old behaviors. So it's like an ongoing thing. But it is very doable. But let's face it, it comes into belief. It's like I was talking with my group this morning, that it all comes down to our belief in what we're doing. And so I don't know if any of your people are religious or whatever, if that's even okay to even talk about. But if you're a believer in God and you read the Bible and Jesus is doing all this healing, not once does he ever say, I have healed you. He says, your faith has made you well. And so it all boils down to, if you really want something to happen, then my work will make it happen astronomically, right? It's like the placebo effect with medicines and the surgeries. They've done surgeries on people, and they've had two groups to where they did the surgery on some, the other ones, they actually cut them open, but they did nothing, closed them back up. And a huge percentage of those people, that only thing they did was cut them open, they have major differences too. They feel healed. They feel like everything's better. And so it comes down to belief on just about everything that we do. It's the hypnosis helps you to have the better beliefs, because most of us have some of those negative beliefs that are constantly on us. Because like you were talking about the children and everything, is we develop our beliefs between 0 and 7, from all the things that happen in our lives, whether somebody's told us we're stupid, or how when families have a bunch of children, they will say, well, this is the one that loves to talk, this is the one that's so smart, this is the one that's creative, this is the one that's going to be an actor, because they do something, and then people all of a sudden start putting this label on them, and then we usually attach ourselves to that label as we're growing up. Does that make sense?
yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
I do believe that people come the product of their positive and negative experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And, in most cases, when people are in an environment that nurtures them and believe in them and gives them that support, they become what the environment socialized them to become. And sometimes they grow and they feel a sense of accomplishments. And then sometime down the line, they recognize that this is not exactly what I want to do. But I do believe that once that the element of comfort is set in the environment in which they're socialized in, it becomes normalized, it becomes second nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a deep subject matter.
Yeah.
But I want us to look also at the concept of hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And the significant role that you see hypnosis playing in getting persons to perhaps look deeper from within to see those factors that are holding them back, to get unstuck from them, to release themselves from it, and then to say, okay, I know my potential to achieve greatness is not defined by my positive or negative socialization, but by knowing me, knowing those strengths that I have, I can push myself forward in this direction. But how does hypnosis in of itself helps you as a transformational coach to get the persons to connect from within, change that perspective, perspective by knowing what is holding them back and then project the best self forward.
The reason I actually got into hypnosis is because as I did the health coaching and the life coaching and the transformational coaching, and I would started out just doing it for myself, right? I
Yeah.
thought whether anybody else got any help or not, I needed it. And I started recognizing that all of that work was amazing and I was making changes, but I kept feeling myself starting to slide back into old behaviors. And so I thought there's got to be something more. So that's why I got into hypnosis, to be able to make it last, right? And so like I was talking about our subconscious mind, and our subconscious doesn't know the difference between truth and fiction. So the things that have been said to us or that we believe and we're constantly reinforcing those are in our subconscious mind. I like to I'll show people a diagram a lot of time that in our subconscious mind there's like pluses and minuses in there. There's positive things that we believe in our mind and negative things that we believe in our mind. And people can have the same thing come up, but they have totally different, they register different behaviors and beliefs because of it. So like I like to say, if I were to open this door over here and a whole bunch of puppies come running in, I would be so excited. I'd be sitting in the floor playing with them and just getting that puppy breath. I just love the puppy breath. But someone who maybe when they were really young had gotten attacked by a dog, then you open that door and those puppies come in and they may be adults now and they know it's not that those puppies can't hurt them, but they're going to still feel that constriction in their body because of that fear that they have because of that first thing. So that's two same stimulus, two different outcomes, right? And so what we do with hypnosis is we're able to look and see what are those limiting beliefs that you have, or the things that have happened in your life that give you this angst about life. It's like, I like to say, it's like you're looking through a lens that has been covered with Vaseline, and all of the things that you believe have skewed the way you see the world. And so good things can't happen if you're always there. I don't take away the fact that you had the dog attack. That stays there because there are lessons to be learned from that. There are things that you need from that. You just don't need the mental anguish, that sweat, that perspiration, that fear that comes up. And so actually with hypnosis, I can get people into this relaxed state and put them in a place where we can remove that emotion that happens because of that fear. So in doing that, they keep the lesson that they learned, but they no longer, when they think of it or the puppies come in, they don't get all of those physical effects of that instance, right? And so with hypnosis, we're actually going in and talking to the subconscious mind. And the conscious mind is what it gives us our ability to follow directions. Our conscious mind is the self-belief about certain things that we do. The conscious mind is the one that is willpower. And that's only 12% of what's going on in our day-to-day life. The other percent is our subconscious mind. We're really being ruled by our subconscious. And so with hypnosis, I'm able to go in and we can speak directly to the subconscious mind and say, hey, like for me, when I first started, it was that I was very heavy and I wanted to be thin. And I was on a roller coaster ride my whole life of up and down and up and down. So with subconscious, in that way, with hypnosis, you go into the subconscious and you can uncover what is it that this heaviness, this weight is protecting me from? And what can we do to release that fear, that whatever the problem is, and I can just talk to the subconscious mind and say, okay, let's get on board, this is what we're going to do. And I actually talk to it as a scenario of how we want this life to play out.
Great. I must say I'm enjoying listening to you. And I know that the more people know about what you're doing, I'm certain that they will be reaching out to you, because I do believe that people have so much that is holding them back, so much that is, consciously and the subconscious, I believe, is holding them back. And to really know that you can tame that beast.
That's right. That's right.
You can tame it, and really position yourself for greatness. I think it's really, really good news.
Yeah, I like to say that if you've ever made a statement to yourself, part of me wants to do this and part of me doesn't, then that means your subconscious mind is split. It's like you've got the devil on the shoulder and the angel on the shoulder, and they're kind of battling each other. And that is a major thing that we can do with hypnosis, is get the subconscious mind to be congruent on board with what you want. Because a lot of times you've got this other little thing back there that's saying, I don't know, I don't know.
Got you. Vickie, I recognize in following you have a statement that you would say you want to help people to step into their brilliance and you want to help them to overcome their limited belief. When you say you want to help people to step into their brilliance, how would you classify people's brilliance to be? Is it more self-awareness? Is it more confidence? Is it more ability to apply yourself after greatness? Help us to understand what you are seeing when you say help people step into their brilliance and overcome limiting beliefs.
Well, it's all of the above.
Oh,
I like to say that we all have gifts and talents that if we're open to them, it's like this brilliance of light shining out from us and pouring into the world, right? And I think a lot of us dim that light because of fear of somebody ridiculing us, or fear of not being enough, or fear of appearing stupid, or what all those fears that come up is the reason that we kind of dim our light. And sometimes it comes to the place of we don't want somebody to feel less than because we're so much. And the thing is that people just really, really constrict all their gifts and their talents, and they hold them in, and they may let a little trickle out. But what I want to help people do is to see their gifts and their talents and be able to let them out, to be aware that it's okay to be brilliant. Your light shining doesn't dim somebody else's. It can actually have them have a little bit more light. So it's a magical thing. And I work a lot with people now who are maybe like some of my recent clients. I had one that wanted to do a TED Talk and was really concerned about being able to get up on the stage and just speak. And so I took her through this hypnosis process where we talked about how things were going to happen on the stage, and we just did all these. It was magical. She even says it was magic for her. And so when she did her TED Talk, she got up there confidently doing her talk, and people were leaning in so much that she said she had never seen that before. So she almost got a little, anxious for a moment because it was so strange. And she did brilliant. She's got another TED Talk coming up soon. And then I had one recently that is a keynote speaker. She can be a keynote speaker all over the place, no problem, right? But she couldn't go to a networking event and just talk to people because nothing was scripted. She didn't have anything rehearsed. She didn't know what they were going to say. She couldn't do the interaction. And so she would hide in the back. She'd break out in a sweat if people came up to her. I did a session with her where we talked about how her body was going to recognize the vibrations of people when she walked in the room, and she'd know exactly who to go talk to, and that she was going to be so relaxed and just be open to just having conversations with people. No agenda, no nothing. Be relaxed in the whole process. And her experience was that she got there and she knew exactly who to go talk to. She talked to them. She was comfortable. She was relaxed. She even sat up front. They said, does anybody want to volunteer? She raised her hand. She got up on the stage. She talked to people. When she left, people were high-fiving her and just, when are you coming back and everything. It was night and day difference with her experience. And so that's the power of hypnosis, is you don't think that it can do that kind of thing to you, to where when you show up, other people react to you. It's not just you, but it's your vibration that you're putting out. And so it can be so magical to get these changes in your life. And by doing that, you get to shine out brighter. And I like to say it is you start putting your billboard out. And I don't know how much time we have. Do we have time for me to share my billboard story?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I hired a coach. And when I hired this coach, it was right after I had started doing my podcast. And so he told me for what I was wanting to do, I needed to let the podcast go and focus on this. And I said, well, the podcast is my self-care. I love doing it. I don't care what comes from it. I just want to do it. So he said, okay, keep that. He said, but you don't have a billboard out. And I said, I don't understand. He said, okay. He said, let's just imagine you're on a trip and you're on one of those rural roads where you go through nothing to get to where you're going. and there's no lights, there's nothing. And suddenly you have to go to the bathroom and you're hungry and you think, oh my gosh, I don't know how far I have to go to get where to a rest stop, right? And suddenly you see this billboard on the side of the road that says Bob's Best Barbecue, clean restrooms, best barbecue in town, 10 miles, next exit 10 miles out. Obviously, that would not be something you would see from the interstate, right? But you follow the directions, you get to Bob's Barbecue, and it is the best barbecue. It could be because you were so hungry, but it doesn't matter. And you go to the restroom, you leave, and you go on your trip. Your belly is full, your bladder is empty, and you are set, right? But now that same scenario, if Bob didn't have his billboard out there, you would never know he was there. So you would keep driving, you would have to go to the bathroom, you'd be so hungry, and there's no way you could take care of what you needed in that moment, right? You would be parking on the side of the road and taking your life in your hands by doing all that, right? So he said, and essentially, he said, you have a business right now that has no billboard out. It's time to get your billboard out. And so that was when things really started to change for me as I started getting my billboard out. So what I essentially help people do is most of the people are wanting to do something in their life to affect someone else. And those people essentially are kind of in their little box. They're staying in their neighborhood. They're staying in their little circle, but they would feel this passion just shine if they went ahead and got their billboard out. So I help them release those beliefs that say, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't know enough. Nobody wants what I have. I help them reduce all of that and essentially get their billboard out.
Essential Care Pharmacy, providing more than your healthcare needs. Get the best in muscle-building products, health supplement products, beauty care products, medical supplies, colognes and cosmetics, blood pressure testing kits. Access our medical doctors, and so much more. Essential Care Pharmacy, your leading healthcare provider.
I really love, having your billboard. Your billboard says that, hey, I am prepared to face the world because I have value that people value. I am value that people value, and I can touch and I can transform people's lives. I really love it. Having your billboard means that you're prepared for visibility. You're prepared to reach. You're prepared to make impact. And you're prepared to touch and transform. Man, that simple word, billboard, has so much of deep meaning to it. And you're right. I think many persons live their life without having their billboard. So they never come into their essence. They never come into purpose,
Yeah.
So wow, that was definitely an aha moment. You talk about magical changes also. And I really want us to speak to that a little bit.
Okay.
Now, let us suppose that you have someone, that wants change and transformation in their life. They know that the life that they are living is not 5% of what they were born to live, but they just do not know how to activate their essence and their greatness. How long would it take you, as an expert in your field, to affect this magical transformation in people's life? And I say magical not only in the context in which you use it, but I do believe that coming to that point where you recognize that your life has potential to be great. You have the potential to be the best version of yourself. And, just becoming aware of that and knowing that you are taking practical steps to get there. That for me is a magical experience, because most people, they're so consumed in their lack and limitation. They're so consumed in their doubts and their fear that they become the product of those negative things, not recognizing that there's another, side of the fence where, if you train the mind right, you apply yourself in the right way, you can literally become the maker and the shaper and the creator of your destiny.
Definitely. It's kind of a loaded question because it depends on each person is different. And it depends on how long have they been battling whatever it is. Do they even know what they want? So I really couldn't say, I can say that one session can be life-changing. Now, does that mean that you're going to suddenly be doing your big dream? Not necessarily, but life-changing can just be that suddenly you're able to walk out in the world and be confident. For for instance, I had one woman she hired me because she wanted to lose weight. One of the things that I do, because maybe it's because I'm also a health coach, a life coach, and a transformational coach, not just a hypnotist. The big portion of my time with the person is talking about what it is they want and uncovering all the things that are holding them back, what their beliefs are. And then I help them by using their words in the hypnosis about what they do want. Because most of the time you ask people what they do want and they give you a litany of answers about what they don't want. So I have to take them through the process of reframing all of those things. And then in the hypnosis, I give them the scenario of what they want, right? And so this woman, one of the things I discovered was her weight wasn't the issue. It was her belief in herself, her body image of who she was, right? Because one of the things I shared with her is that you can have two women walk into a room, or even men, but it's more prevalent in women, and one be nice and thin and beautiful, and the other one be really beautiful, but she's a lot heavier. If the one that's thin and beautiful has zero self-confidence, she's going to walk in and nobody's going to pay a damn bit of attention to her. You have the heavier set woman walk in and she has got confidence out the wazoo. Everybody's going to notice her in a good way, right? It has not a damn thing to do with their body. It's who they are. And so in hypnosis, I helped her have this confidence because she lived in New York, and she said that when she would walk down the road, that she said people were looking at her in disgust because she was too heavy. She couldn't go to, if she met a guy and he looked at her a certain way, she just knew it was because he thought she was fat, and all these different things, because it was all in her head, right? That's kind of not a good thing to say, but anyway, it was her beliefs. And so after hypnosis, she suddenly was able to walk down the streets in New York, and she noticed that people were looking at her, but they were looking at her like they were admiring her confidence. And when she met a gentleman, he was actually attracted to her and her confidence. And so she was showing up totally different. And so that's one of the things that hypnosis does. And with hers, I think we only did like 2 sessions and she was there. Now, did she lose weight that day? Did she lose weight in 2 sessions? No, but she was having the effect that she thought the weight loss would give her.
Fantastic. What I'm hearing is that your programs really help people to connect with a true self.
Yes.
And what I've learned about a true self is that the true self doesn't concern where you came from. The true self is not concerned with what you're going through. The true self is a self that says to you, listen to me, when you are ready to stand up and show up and shine in your essence, I'm going to take you there and I'm going to make you shine.
Yes.
And I really love the work that you do in that regard. Kudos again to you. Can we talk a little bit about your Facebook group? You have started a very unique community where you meet with your community on a regular basis and you are pouring into them.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that community and, some of how you have been able to impact that community? Talk to us about what that experience is like for you.
Yes. It's interesting because it's changed a little bit over time. It used to be called Make Lasting Change because that's what I thought everybody wanted, was to make lasting change. And then over time, as I was working with them, I realized that that wasn't necessarily it. They wanted to put their billboard out too. So it's called Stand Up and Stand Out. And my emblem or my banner is actually a billboard with the words Stand Up and Stand Out because it's that important to me, right? I do pour into them. I go in there live every single day. And the reason that I started going live every day, because I was going live once a week and sharing, and I would put posts in there and everything. The health coaching school that I went to, the life coaching school I went to, I had gotten a deck of cards from them, and it was like 30 cards in there, and each card had an affirmation on one side and a journal prompt on the other. And so as I was doing one of my lives for the week, I thought about it and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I said, I just realized that I've got these cards and I've never really done anything with them. So for the next 30 days, we're going to do a daily affirmation and journal prompt, and I'm going to use these cards. Oh my gosh. As soon as I started doing that, more people were showing up and they were looking for me. And it was like mind blowing to me. So I thought, this is what they need. So I started started doing a daily affirmation and journal prompt. And so I don't even know how long I've been doing this. It's been a long time, but I show up daily with these affirmations and journal prompts. And it's not like I get on there and I say, this is your affirmation, this is your journal prompt, thank you, goodbye. It's I share stories. I have conversations with them about what they believe about these affirmations and journal prompts. And it has just been such a big thing that Monday was my live celebration of the group. Since that wasn't the part of the affirmation journal prompt, I wasn't putting them in there. And I started having people say, well, when are you doing the affirmation and the journal prompt today? I really need that. So it has just become this thing that they're all looking forward to. And the other day, for instance, one of the funny things that happened is my internet was having an issue. On that day, I was supposed to go live at 2:00. I had to go to the to Xfinity and I had to change my modem out, and I get it home and it's not connecting. My phone wouldn't even connect. All these things were happening. I couldn't get on. I couldn't even tell them where I was. When I finally got it back up, there were messages in my group. Where are you? Are you okay? Is everything okay? And it was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You know, they missed me. They wanted me to be there and give these affirmations and journal prompts. And so we do so many amazing things in there, you know, celebrating each other, helping each other. And it's all about being able to get outside of your own self and shine bright, right? So I have guest experts that come in. I just had a financial expert come in and talk to them about the mindset about money. And I've had people in there about relationships with conversations and how to have better boundaries. And so I pour into them with other people too. I have guests that come in and share. A lot of these guests I've had on my podcast. And when I talk to them, it's like, oh, you'd be a perfect fit for my group. Can you come in and share? And yes, they do. So and the thing that I tell them all the time is that it lights me up every time I get to go into that group and I pour in and I share. It just warms my heart. And every time I have the conversations with them, it just makes me even breathe deeper, knowing that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. And this is a free group. I don't charge them for anything. Now, I do workshops and different things sometimes that I charge for, and they can choose to do that or not. I recently had several master classes, and I had a workshop that was coming up, and one of the women wanted desperately to be in the workshop, but she said, I can't afford to do that right now. I said, well, just keep showing up every day in the free group. Take advantage of all these people that I bring in and all the free stuff that I do. And then you'll get to a place where you can afford to branch out and do more. And it's like, it's beautiful because I can share all the gifts and everything, but then if they want to take it to another level, you know, then I can pour into them over there too.
Awesome. Can we talk a little bit about your short-term vision for your business, short and long-term vision? How do you see Enlightened Peach 5-10 years from now?
Well, my short-term vision is to keep pouring into my group and having it expand to where I have thousands of people that are showing up in this group and being there and helping each other and making all these amazing changes in their lives. My long-term goal is to have those people rippling out into the world at this level that right now I don't even think I can comprehend how far that's going to be. I think it's like that drop of a pebble in the ocean that it just goes out and you can't even see how far it goes. Because like I shared with you earlier, one of my greatest fears has always been that I would die with my gifts still in me or die without having made a big enough difference in the world. And so I feel as I keep doing this, because, you know, it's like you smile at someone and it makes them smile at someone else. That's a ripple. You help someone get their billboard out, then they help somebody else get their billboard out. There's the ripple. It just keeps going and going and going. And I just see it as being, it's funny because I had a vision the other day and I shared it with my coach that I was actually practicing in my mind. I was practicing my speech about being on this stage and having the auditorium just full of people that I had made a change for, and just being so overwhelmed with the faces that I couldn't even see because it went so far back. And just to know that it wasn't so much that it was glorifying me by being on that stage, but it was seeing these heads of people and knowing that I had a part of them making massive changes in their lives and rippling out even further. So I didn't touch each one of those people individually. It was the masses of people that have touched because I touched one and it spread on out.
Well, I feel your energy,
Mm.
and I definitely know that the path that you're on, you're going to be touching lives across the world. We'll talk some more about, practical steps that we may be able to support with outside of this program. Vickie, I want us to talk a bit now. I want us to do some rapid answers.
Okay. All
I
right.
want us to talk
Is this a test?
and it coincides with a lot with your tagline, master of habit change. There are many persons that will look at you, and many persons that are going to be looking at this program, listening to your story, and they're going to say that you were born into success, and they tend not to see the whole story. The question that I want to ask is habits. What habits do you think influence success? I mean, again, you have so many success. You have been in business for over 30 years. Many persons don't even survive to reach, 5 years. You have sustained yourself and survived for over 30 years. You have a beautiful business that is doing an excellent work in the world, which is titled Enlightened Peach. You're dropping your pebbles to help to heal people and help to make the world a better place. You are doing massive work in your community. You're successful as a certified health coach. You have so much going on for you. What do you think are the habits that influences success?
The biggest habit I believe that makes such a huge difference is, how do I say it? It's not giving up. Because I will say that, if I had given up every time I thought of giving up, I definitely would not be here today.
Mhm.
And so that is the main thing, no matter what's going on. And it's so interesting. Some of the things we're talking about, I just talked about this morning in my group because I was on there before I got on here. And
Yeah.
I was telling them that, I've been a coach for 7 years, but was it like this the whole 7 years? Hell no. Right. And there were quite a few times that I tried to do things, nobody would show up. And I think, am I even on the right path? Maybe I should switch. Maybe I should do something different. Maybe this isn't for me. What I ended up having to do was sit back and say, okay, if I give up today and I decide this is not for me, will I be happy? And it was no, because I
Mhm.
love this. I love knowing that I can make a difference, whether there's anybody I can make a difference with right this moment or not, doesn't matter. Right. And so I guess another habit is to have this thing where you're not so attached to how things pan out, because our journey is always, it's a different road and different hill than we ever think, right? So it's not giving up, but also being open to, if you can see what you want to become and how the difference that you want to make, get detached from how that's going to pan out.
Got you. How would you define success?
To me, success is if you can wake up every single day and you feel in your heart that you are doing passionately what you want to do, regardless of what that is. To me, that is success.
Love that. As we look at your success, would you say that you have a blueprint for success? I'm not asking you to give away your secret sauce, right? But
Do you mean a blueprint to give others or a blueprint for myself?
blueprint, talk to us. I mean, there's some people that would have a step-by-step approach that, they said, this is the blueprint that I use to attain success. Some people say, I might have had a blueprint, but, success didn't came from the way that I planned it. It came from every other direction that I didn't expect it to come from.
Right.
And what has that been like for you? Are you using a blueprint, or are you doing things in alignment with your passion and you're allowing the universe to do its thing for you?
That's the one, because what I do is, like I said, be open to it being a different path. That I let go of my strict blueprint, because having a blueprint to me meant I missed out on opportunities, because that's not the road I'm supposed to go. This is the way I'm supposed to go. And so my blueprint is to be open to my intuition, bringing the right people to me, bringing the right circumstances, the people in my group group just gravitate to me. It is like when you've got the right mindset about it and you're just vibrating out this energy of this is going to happen. I know it is, and the right people are going to approach me, and all these opportunities are just going to come to me. Then it allows everything to come. Doesn't mean you don't do stuff, because that's the worst thing, is to sit back and say, well, I'm waiting for the thing to drop in from the sky. But there's action that takes place. And so that may mean, like, I have this one coach that I work with. She just like came and I started working with her. She tells me, I really think that if you'll take these actions, that this will kind of help you to get where you want to go. I immediately go take those actions. And so I don't say, well, doesn't look easy. So I take action, but I'm allowing it all to come synchronistically to me.
Great. I love your answer. Challenges. Can you talk to us about challenges that you had to overcome and to be as successful as you are today?
My biggest challenge, I believe, is not believing in myself. And I was constantly having a lot of things that would show up to say that I couldn't believe in myself. So that was the biggest thing, is being able to understand that when I don't know how to do something, it's not because I'm not worthy. It's not because I'm not smart. It's because I hadn't tried it yet. How the hell am I supposed to know how to do it? Right. And so I had to reframe a lot of things in my life, because I had evidence everywhere of how I should stay exactly where I was. And I wasn't wanting to stay there. And so that I believe that's the biggest thing, because I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be, but I didn't believe I could make anything happen. And so I just kept not giving up. Not giving up.
Great. I first of all, I want to thank you for being vulnerable and opening up to us, about some of the challenges that you had to overcome. And one of them is belief in self. And I want to say this, that I do believe that millions of people in the world, they struggle with this, but they struggle in silence.
Mm-hmm.
And when you struggle in silence and you don't seek the answer, you're doing more harm than good to yourself. And what you did, you went out for answers, and you did what you had to do to ensure that you're replacing fear and doubts and lack of self-confidence with all the positive things that it needs to be replaced with to be where you are today. Again, I want to say kudos to you, because I know for a fact that we have millions of people today that are going to live in their fear. They are going to allow their lack of self-confidence to become the product of their identity. And that's a tremendous missed opportunity to shine in the very thing that you're working to help them to shine in. And that's to shine in their assets.
Yeah.
So good job. Love that.
Yeah, thank you.
What I want to talk to you about now, as you look at self-confidence that you didn't have, as you look at perhaps other challenges that you had to overcome, do you have regret that you didn't act on it earlier, and do you have any regrets? And do you think that those regrets perhaps is holding you back, or is it pushing you forward?
I don't really have regrets. And the reason why is, and I say this in my podcast, we live a mosaic life. It's all the bits and pieces that have happened to us in our lives that make us who we are. You change any one of those things and we're a different person. Every one of those bumps along the road, some of them were huge bumps and some of them not so big, but every one of those, there is a lesson that I can learn from it. There is something that was helping me to grow and become who I wanted to be, right? Am I there now? No, I still have a lot of growing to do. And so I look at everything in my past. So if I were to say, when I started my coaching 7 years ago, if I had been able to be here now 7 years ago, it would have scared the shit out of, to be perfectly honest. I would not have been able to handle it, right? I had to go through all those bumps and bruises to be able to be confident enough to sit here right here talking to you today, to be able to work with my group, to be able to do all the things that I'm doing. There is no way, if you had put me in a room room and said, okay, now we're going to fast track you to here, go, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And so it's like none of that is a regret to me. It was part of the process of getting me here.
Great. We have a few more questions that I want us to discuss
Okay.
before we wrap up. Without a doubt, you are an influencer in your field. I want us to talk about those factors that really set you up to be an influencer in your industry. Was it, in listening to you, I recognize that you had your own experiences in life, you had your own challenges in life, and you faced those challenges. You didn't take flight from them. You face it, you overcome it, you conquer them,
I might have
and
sat down
you
and cried a
become,
few times though.
well,
Just
it
to be
happens
honest,
from time to
be transparent here.
yeah, it happens. But the beauty about it is that you stood up to all of that, and you put your shoulder to the wall and you press it and you press it until it came down, and you overcome. You became the conqueror. You no longer was the victim, you were the victor. I really want to know what really inspired you to become the influencer that you are today. Is it simply because you want to self-discover? Is it now that you want to help people, to fast track their growth and their development? What are those factors that you would say are the springboard that really push you to become an influencer in your industry?
Well, I believe it starts with I knew exactly why I wanted to do this. And it was
Yeah.
because I wanted to make this impact in the world. And I can't make that impact by staying small.
Hmm.
And the other thing is that I didn't do it alone. I had the right coaches show up, the right mentors show up, the right programs show up. I was open to taking advantage of those and actually learning from these people. A lot of the things I did were free things that I was involved in, reading books and all those things. So I feel like I've had a plethora of people, from books and to people online, and all these things have come together to help me. And so it's recognizing that I didn't do it by myself, but it really starts with, if you have a big enough why, you can overcome any obstacle. Might not be easy, and you might get down to your knees a few times, and you might sometimes want to give up. But when those give up parts come to you, it's like you can see, I was doing this because, and then you are open to what's the next step. How can I get out of this little hole that I'm in and keep going toward that goal?
Great. You hinted just now that one of your driving, motive, the factor that pushes you to be that influencer, is that you want to make an impact on the world. So you give us a hint there. I want to ask you more directly, what impact do you want to make on your community and the world, and how do you want to be remembered?
The impact that I want to make is I want anybody that comes into my sphere to be their confident self and able to do the dreams that they want to dream. Anything that is, that they feel the capability. They may not know how, but they've got the capability and they believe in themselves enough to do it. That's the big thing. And
Mhm.
because so many people really don't have that. And what was the other part of the question?
How do you want to be remembered? If happens.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to be remembered as, oh my gosh, this might make me cry. I want to be remembered. See, it's going to make me cry. Sorry. As a person that loved people so dearly, gave everybody a virtual warm hug and said, everything's going to work out perfectly. Let's make this happen. And so everybody that remembers me, and I hope there's a hell of a lot when I'm gone, that remembers my spirit, my joy, and my passion for helping people to get out of their own way and be who they want to be.
I love that. But I want to say that I feel your energy, and I can see you have nowhere to go anytime soon. The maker is not ready for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh, hope so. Hope so.
no, you have a bigger purpose to fulfill. I can feel that. I will be talking with you outside of this podcast to definitely see what we can do, how we can collaborate to, help to foster the big dreams that you have of touching and transforming life. I say this largely based on the fact because I can feel your heart. Your heart is with people, and your heart is with really helping people to become enlightened and to the fact that they weren't born to live in lack. They weren't born to live in limitation. They weren't born to live in fear, but they were born to embrace their abundance. But they will never ever be able to do so unless they become enlightened and aware of the rich potential that they have. And your program is all set out to help them realize that. So, Vicky, I can see the big dreams that you have, but I have about two or three more questions that I want to ask you.
Okay.
Um,
Before you do, I just want to
Go
make
ahead.
sure I get the ability or the time to invite anybody that's listening to come to my group if they're interested.
Go right
Can I do
ahead. Go
that
right
now?
ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay. All they have to do is go to vickiepoole.com. That is VICKIEPOOLE.com. And they'll be prompted to answer some questions. And once they do, they'll be in the queue and I can let them into the group with open arms and they can participate in all the things that we have going on.
Great. I want to join you. And this is a free. Is this a free group, Vicky?
Yes, it's a free group. It's private, but it's a free group.
Private. So there you have it. To get a piece of Vicky, do log on to the data that you would have just given you and become part of that community. I'm certain that you would be inspired. I'm certain about that. Vicky, I know to do business and to scale a business and to make, local, regional, and international impact, it requires a fair degree of budgetary allocation to make that happen. The question I want to ask you, how important is access to capital to you in taking your vision to that next level?
Well, see, I don't really do ads and all that stuff. I do things organically right now. So right now, it's not as big a thing for me, but I'm sure it will be as time goes, because that's the only way I guess you can get your reach out even further than your little sphere here, right?
Yeah.
So it's not really anything that I have contemplated on too much, because it seems to be that I'm making a big impact here. And so that's just been my focus.
Essential Care Pharmacy, providing more than your healthcare needs. Get the best in muscle building products, health supplement products, beauty care products, medical supplies, colognes and cosmetics, blood pressure testing kits. Access our medical doctors, and so much more. Essential Care Pharmacy, your leading healthcare provider.
Great. All right. One of the reasons that I asked is that once you're
Mhm.
in the US
Mhm.
and 50 states in the US, part of what we do, we help businesses like yourself, rising stars like yourself, to access all different types of capital to help move your vision forward.
Mhm.
So what I will do outside of this platform, we will do some talking. I'll see where you are, where you want to go, and how we can, when the time is necessary, if not now, set you up to get the kind of support to take your vision to the next level.
Okay, beautiful.
All right, the last question that I want to ask now is, what are essential money habits, for people to have? Can we talk a little bit about this?
All right. So I will say that that is one of the things that I work on all the time, is the money habits, because when you have these, if you don't have the right money mindset, every time you get this new windfall of cash coming in, a new bill is going to show up, or you're not going to be mindful of where you're spending and all of those things. So I think it is getting your head out of the sand. A lot of people spend their time just avoiding, if I don't look at it, it doesn't matter kind of thing. And so, and I used to be one of those people that I had a box in my closet that all my receipts went in. And then at the end of the year, I'd pile them out and I would try to sort them out. And it was like, I avoided it like the plague. So I started doing the habit of my receipts still go in my box. However, each month I go in and I sort them out. I have a ledger that I put all the information in. I'm not one of those people that uses a digital platform to keep track of all that stuff. That may be coming, because that's one of the things that, as you expand out, it becomes a lot more taxing to do all this paperwork yourself, right? I do have a CPA that takes care of things for me. But I think as far as it's making sure that when you're spending, you're looking at what are actual assets that you're investing in versus just things that are taking your money. And so there's nothing wrong with being indulgent in your life, but sometimes I think people become, and when I say people, I'm here, right? Is that you sometimes you get this extra money and suddenly it's like all these things that you've been wanting to do for a while that you've just said, well, I'm going to wait on that or wait on that. You start investing in all these things that may be a liability and not an asset. And so it's recognizing the difference between those two, I believe.
Well, I must say, I love that. And I can see that we are just beginning to scratch the surface with the wealth of knowledge that you have, because I've just seen that we have just opened up a new chapter and for you to
And I'm not a financial expert, so don't even think that, I'm being transparent here. This is one of my things that I work on all the time.
Oh, got you. Perhaps our next interview, perhaps we can do a deep dive into money habits, because I do believe that what you have said is so important. Many persons, they're not able to make an informed and educated decision as to if their investment is a liability or an asset. And one thing that I talk about a lot, when you take capital and let us say you put it into your property, once you are living in that property, is it an asset or is it a liability? And most persons are not able to distinguish that. The perception is that you have this, building, and it's going to be with you for a long time to come, and it's going to be good. But when you do the financial analysis, that is literally a liability. But there's a way in which you could convert that liability into an asset that is not going to offset your monthly expenses, which we call the PITI, but it's going to put money into your pocket. And it's going to put money into your pocket when you set things up right for the rest of your life. So we have so much of talking to do. We have just
I think I have a lot to learn from you, I will say.
Well, I'm certain that we can learn from each other, because, you have given me, a lot of food to think about, a lot of food for thoughts, as you talk about how hypnosis can help to reframe, the mindset, what I call the mindset, because I do believe that for you to be successful, it's not what you can see with your eyes. That's good, but it's really what you can see with the mind. And, seeing things with the mind means that you have greater clarity. So we have a lot of talking to do, Vickie. And
Yes.
I want to say it has been fun talking with you today. And I want to give you the chance to have the last say. And in the event that there's something that you'd want to say that I didn't ask you, I want to give you the chance to say it now. And before we pull the curtain down on today's program.
Okay. Well, one of the things that was coming up as we were talking earlier, and we were talking about gifts and talents of people and how people were not shining their brightness and everything. And I don't remember who did this quote, but he said that the richest place in the world is the cemetery, because if
Miles
you
Monroe.
go in there, who, what?
Miles Monroe.
Miles, okay. Because the gifts and the talents that people have never let out of their lives are all there, and they're hidden. There's the gold of people's ideas, maybe inventions that they never even touched. Maybe somebody cured cancer and they just never reached out and did the things. Maybe somebody, could have changed the whole direction of the world with some idea that they had, and it's all there, but nobody let it out. And so I just want to leave with a quote that I do on my podcast all the time. And I don't know who who did this quote either. I'll be honest. The best way to predict the future is to create it. And so I like to ask, what are you creating, or are you creating anything, or are you sitting back and just being in life? Because the one constant in life is change. So you're either changing for the better or you're sliding backwards, because you're not staying exactly where you are. And so the only way you can live out your purpose is to start today, no matter where you are, and say, okay, I'm not going to stay right where I'm at because I can't. So today I get to choose. Do I want to move forward into who I want to be, or do I keep sliding back to wherever the tide takes me? And so the choice is yours.
Love that. Can I tell you what I learned today from you?
Oh yeah, sure.
You have made two quotes.
It's not that I do quotes and I never know who it is, right?
It's okay. It's okay. But what I've learned listening to your quotes and listening to you speak is that all of us, we should aim to live full so we can die empty. Live full
Yes.
so we can die empty.
Yeah.
So I've learned that from you today.
Oh, beautiful. I love your quote too, because the thing is, there's not a person on their deathbed that says, oh, I wish I'd worked harder. I wish I had. No, they want to be happy with where they are. They're grateful for the life that they live. And so I hope that for everybody.
Awesome. Okay, Vickie, I must say it has been such a pleasure talking with you today. And I'm looking forward to have more of these conversations with you, because I know that you have so much to share. So I'll be talking with you at the back end, and we'll definitely be looking at how we can set up some time to do another interview with you. I think we can start with finance and pick your brains there, and then we'll explore whatever the future holds. But I want to wish you best of luck in terms of what you're doing. I feel your heart, and I know that you have a lot to give, and just to let you know that we are here to give you that support, to help you give your gift to the world and bring your gift to the world.
Thank you. And it's been a pleasure being here. I'm so grateful that you reached out, and I got to come on and share for your people.
My pleasure.
Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York do more than just support our clients to pitch their businesses to investors access working capital at 0% APR. We also support our clients to grow and scale their businesses faster and cash flow optimize. Pitch Deck 101 LLC recent partnership with 10X Branding Marketing LLC and Global Capital Inc. out of the USA has enabled us to form unique partnership with multiple financial institutions, which means we can do even more to accelerate the success of our clients. Let Pitch Deck 101 LLC give you the support you need to pitch to investors, access capital, access new markets, and grow and scale your business. Contact us now on 332-235-1099 for a free consultation.